Good morning and thank you so much for being with us on UBC TV. In case you have just joined us, it is Good Morning Uganda Agenda, but we are here from 6:30 with Najuma, Olive, Joram, Paul, Songo, I, and also Ruben Kasera and Pima Chipirango. What do is ensure you start your day a very informed person of what is happening in the country and overseas. Now, in the agenda, we have a guest and look at issues of national concern. And this morning, we want to look at the need to amend and harmonize laws regulating SACCOS in Uganda. Now, for a long time, our government has looked at all forms of empowering Ugandans by giving them financial assistance and using a cooperative model known as SACCOS. But over a time, there have been questions in terms where there could be contradictions regarding the law. And joining me on set, whenever I'm discussing anything to do with cooperatives and of course SACCOS, which are cooperatives as well, is the General Secretary, Uganda Cooperative Alliance, Ivan Asimwe, and later on we'll be joined by another guest, if time allows, from also the legal fraternity, but also a member of Uganda Cooperative Alliance, to see how best we can push the voice to cause for this harmonization and amendment where need be. Join me, welcome a very smart gentleman with me, Ivan Asimwe.
Thank you so much, moderator. You know, today we agreed to be very smart, me and you. Good morning, all our viewers. I'm really very happy to be here today.
How is the alliance moving?
The alliance, Uganda Cooperative Alliance, is moving on very well. We are on the best trajectory because this is the opt-in time where we prove our relevance as an apex body. Because previously, I don't think that we had such a vigor, but now we have too much vigor because we really need to showcase the relevance of cooperatives in this country. Because cooperatives, not only in Uganda, but globally, they have changed the lives of many people. So who are we not to really champion this in this country? And we are very happy with our government because the government adopted the cooperative model. The president is always talking about cooperatives. So we now need to take the message down to the people. And we are very happy with UBC for always giving us such opportunity to really share with the cooperators and even non-cooperators down there. So we are always happy for you.
Now, Ivan, for today's topic, let's begin by defining a SACCO for our people. The credit saving and cooperative. Let's break this down for our person to understand. First, many don't even know that they are cooperatives, much as there is the word cooperative. So let's break this so that our public can know what are we pushing for to have laws amended towards.
Thank you so much. As usual, I want to thank you, moderator. UBC in general, thank you so much. Cooperators, you need to join me to appreciate UBC because this is an opportunity for us to really share all of this. What is a SACCO? A SACCO is a savings and credit cooperative organization. In brief, it's an abbreviation of savings and credit cooperative organization. When you go to other countries, they are called credit unions. So whether it's a credit union, whether it is a SACCO, it is about a financial cooperative. It is a type of cooperative that provides financial services to the members. We know we have different types and forms of cooperatives. When you talk about SACCOS, here you mean those cooperatives that provide financial services to the members in terms of savings and credit. And it is made like that. It is a savings and credit, meaning that you save and then you access credit. Not accessing credit and then you save. It is save first and then access credit. So it's that type. Now we have different types and forms like I've mentioned. Beyond SACCOS, we have agricultural production and marketing cooperatives. Talk about Chibinge, Banyankole, Bugisu, Sebei Eregon, East Acholi, West Acholi, name them, there are so many. Then we have energy cooperatives, like Chegegwa Energy Cooperative, Paida Beam Cooperative Society, and others. Then we have health cooperatives. Those ones are into health. We have transport cooperatives, Uganda Cooperative Transport Union, our Kule Nume in Kampala, the borders, those are in transport. Then we have housing cooperatives like Uganda Housing Cooperative Union. It's the union for all these housing cooperatives. So there are so many in the country. And then when you talk about the forms, when you bring these SACCOs together, they form unions. Like Uganda Cooperative Savings and Credit Union, UKUSCU, is a union under Uganda Cooperative Alliance because the members are SACCOs. Then we also have like Uganda Central Cooperative Financial Services, UCAFS, which sits in UCA. Then we have Kigezi SACCOs Union. It's a union for SACCOs in Kigezi region. We have Ntungamo SACCOs Union and others. Even Shema, they are there. So when you bring those unions together, you now form Uganda Cooperative Alliance as the apex, which is the topmost. So that is the form or the structure. Then the types I've explained. Now when you talk about SACCOs, globally, SACCOs started during the Industrial Revolution because there was a financial crisis and the investors needed money. So what they did in Germany, there was a mayor called Rafsen. In 1864, he led the champion of establishing credit unions. 1864, long time ago. Now, according to the World Council of Credit Unions, this is an umbrella body for all SACCOs globally. According to the study they did, credit unions or SACCOs are in over 101 countries globally. With they estimate that globally we have over 56,000 registered SACCOs with a membership of 200 million and with total assets of 1.7 trillion US dollars. If you had a calculator, you'd help me as I move. 1.7 trillion US dollars, put it in Uganda shillings, convert it, and then you'll tell us whether it is, I don't know, whether it is trillions or whichever, I don't know. But it is more. You can't even put it on your calculator.
Yes.
What do I mean? I mean that SACCOs globally, they have a financial muscle. So when we are talking about SACCOs, the viewers, we are not talking about a very small thing. We are talking about financial institutions that are bigger than commercial banks with those trillions. You come back to Uganda here, we have over 20,000 registered SACCOs now.
Over 20,000?
Yes, over 20,000.
That's a big number.
It's a big number. Because now when you look at the PDM, PDM, they are supposed to register 10,954 SACCOs across the country. Because according to the president, each parish is supposed to have a SACCO. Now, and that's why we really appreciate very much the government. We appreciate His Excellency for this move of ensuring that Ugandans adopt the cooperative model. Now, I have been talking about SACCOs and being a cooperative and being a type of cooperative. What is a cooperative? A cooperative ideally means an autonomous association of persons united voluntarily to meet their social, economic, cultural needs and aspirations through a jointly owned and democratically controlled enterprise. And cooperatives are based on 7 international cooperative principles developed under Vienna Congress in 1966. And then in 1995, they made a review under Manchester Congress, where they added on the 7th principle, which is community concern. So these are globally guided by the international principles and values.
Now, all that said, of course, it gives our viewer more understanding of what we are discussing today, the SACCOs. And now we want to look at why are you pushing for amendments, for harmonization? Because that means there is a gap. So which are the gaps?
Very true. Moderator, today we are expecting to have a council here, Council Morgan, who is the chairperson of the Uganda Law Society, SACCO, You know, even lawyers have a SACCO. The medics have a SACCO. Politicians, parliament, they have a SACCO. So everybody now. Now, why? Like I've mentioned, we have all that big number of SACCOs in the country. Now, what happened? Because of the financial muscle, because of the risks involved in handling money, because of the challenges that we see. You remember last time we were here talking about UCA having conducted a capacity needs assessment, and we really discovered that there are so many challenges in these cooperatives, including SACCOs. So based on that, in 2003, the central bank amended the MDI Act to allow regulation and licensing of bigger SACCOs. Now, according to BOU, a bigger SACCO means that SACCO that has share capital of 500 million plus, and then voluntary savings of 1.5 billion plus, Uganda shillings plus. So for those ones beyond 500 million and 1.5 billion, share capital and savings respectively are considered as bigger SACCOs, and they need to go to the central bank
now, Ivan,
for regulation.
You're a certified accountant.
Yes.
And with you numbers, these technical terms are very common to you.
Yes.
Now, for my people, when we talk about share capital and then voluntary savings,
yes.
break that down, because someone may be in a SACCO that is under that, but they don't understand what you're saying.
Okay, fine. So when you talk about savings, this is the money people save.
Saving,
these are members' deposits, what they deposit. When you talk of share capital, in my language they would call it omugabo. Omugabo, meaning this is what you buy, the money that you pay to a cooperative in order to qualify to be a member and a shareholder. So that at the end of the year, in case they are giving out dividends, then they pay you according to the shares that you have. So this is your investment, what you pay in order to say that I now own this SACCO, I'm a shareholder. So for them, they categorized those SACCOs based on what people have invested there and also how much they deposit. Then in 2016, government enacted a new law called the Tier 4 Microfinance Institutions and Money Lenders Act. And it requires that all SACCOs shall be licensed and regulated by Uganda Microfinance Regulatory Authority, which is UMRA. You get it?
Yes.
Now, in 2020, the Cooperative Societies Act, CAP 112, was also amended because this act had been enacted in 1991. So it was also amended now saying that SACCOs should go to the Registrar of Cooperatives. You see? Because previously, before the enactment of the Tier 4 and also the amendment of the other central bank, all SACCOs were categorized as cooperatives and they were under the supervision of the Registrar of Cooperatives. But now when they did the other amendments, they now sort of took them away. The Registrar was left with registering SACCOs. So after registration, automatically it would cross over. However, in 2020, the Cooperative Societies Act, CAP 112, is also amended. Now it says SACCOs come back to the registrar. So that one creates a legal lacuna. A legal lacuna in the sense that now if you are a SACCO standing here, for example, you are Garo SACCO, then where do you fall? Are you supposed to go to Bank of Uganda? Are you supposed to go to UMRA? Or are you supposed to go to the registrar? Now, all of those three regulations, they have a cost implication because you have to pay fees.
Yes.
Secondly, there is bureaucracy. Thirdly, there is contradiction. This one says this, the other one says no. For example, let me give you an example. Under Tier 4 Microfinance Institutions and the Money Lenders Act, it says that you cannot be called a savings and credit cooperative society unless you have a license from UMRA. You get it?
Yes, I do.
Now, the other law, which is now Cooperative Societies Act, it is now CAP 107 after the amendment. It says you can actually become a SACCO at inception. So when they are registering like now the UBC staff SACCO, they register you as UBC staff SACCO at registration. Whereas the other law says you cannot be called a SACCO unless you have a license. So it means you cannot be called a child unless you are baptized. So how do you baptize someone who is not yet born? That is a contradiction already. Now, when you go to our neighbors here, we are not going very far. In Kenya here, Kenya has a single regulator called the SACCO Regulatory Authority, SACCO. And it is very clear. And again, the viewers, you see, you cannot regulate something you don't know. You need to understand that a SACCO is a cooperative, not a company. The moment you confuse the two, then you are done. Because
one looks at profits.
Yes, one looks at a profit. The company is profit-oriented.
Yes, this one looks
the
at
SACCO
surplus.
is looking at member satisfaction on a sustainable basis. So that one contradicts the other. Secondly, when you are trying to regulate any cooperative, you must be mindful of the international cooperative principles and values. The principles are 7. Number 1 is voluntary and open membership. Number 2 is democratic member control. Number 3 is member economic participation. Number 4 is autonomy and independence. Number 5 is member training, education and information. Number 6 is cooperation among cooperatives. And number 7 is community concern. You must know these principles. And the values and the tenets, you must know that a member, a SACCO is member owned, member used, member controlled and benefiting members, which defeats the legal entity concept for us accountants. For us accountants, when I'm studying accounting, I am taking IFRSs, the National Financial Reporting Standards, and I study company accounts. So the company accounts will say that once a company is incorporated, it becomes a separate legal entity. You get it? From its owners. Yes, even in the Cooperative Societies Act, it is there. Section 28 of Cap 112. It says that a SACCO is a body corporate. However, the fact that a SACCO or a cooperative is based on principles and values, you don't separate it from the owner. It remains owner, controlled, used, and benefiting. If it is a SACCO, me and you and Chirabo and another one, we as members, the SACCO generates revenue amongst ourselves here as members. And like a company, like a bank, when you open a branch in Chisoro or Kunjiri, the profits you are making the other side is not from the shareholders, is from non-shareholders, is from the public. So you are, that one when you are preparing accounts, it is different because the profits have been generated outside its membership. But in the SACCO, the profits or the surplus or the income is generated within the membership itself, because you are not allowed to generate revenue outside the membership. So that is why we are having problems, one, with the accountants when it comes to financial reporting, because they tend to think in terms of company accounts, yet they are dealing with cooperatives. When you go to the legal fraternity, that's why Morgan is supposed to be here, you find the lawyers are looking at cooperatives as companies. Yesterday we were in the revenue, URA. Someone was giving us a form for URA to go and get registration with URSB and also get Form 20. It took me an hour to convince a URA staff that a cooperative is not a company. But they were insisting, no, you must go to URSB, you must fill Form 20. I said, no, a cooperative is not a company. So, if you are to regulate these cooperatives, you need to understand the cooperative principles and values and ideology. That's when you can easily regulate these cooperatives.
So where do you feel among these three bodies that cooperatives would better be understood?
So what we want, what do we want? Because now these are the views of the cooperatives.
Yes.
On the 28th of September 2023, last year, we had a national cooperative, because it has been, these issues have been upcoming. It has not started today. The issue of regulating SACCOS started long time back, around 2008. Because SACCOS had become very strong in the country. You know, we have very big SACCOS like Wazalendo and others. So of course we needed to, these SACCOs wanted them to be regulated. So it started like that. And for cooperators, right from inception, they wanted the body that can regulate these SACCOs, understanding them very well, understanding the cooperative ideology, the principles and the values, so that you don't take them away from the muramwa or from the core. So, on that day, the cooperators sat on the 20th of September last year and came up with resolutions. And one of the resolutions was, let us engage government. What do we want? We want a single regulator.
Okay,
that's
first
and a single regulator. Law. And a single law.
Oh.
Have a single law and a single regulator. A law that is specifically designed for SACCOs. You get me? And the regulator that is specifically to regulate SACCOs. This is what they decided. So, we immediately after that, we wrote to the Attorney General. And the Attorney General, in his wisdom, advised the government. And said the government cooperators are right. Because there is a lacuna. You cannot subject them to 3 homes. It's like now, I have my family here. I have where I'm born. You cannot tell me, this is your father, this is your father, this is your father. So, among the 3, who is my father?
Yes.
You get me? So, SACCOs don't want those homes. What they want is to have a single home. And a home that understands them better. So that when you are regulating SACCOs, you don't put these parameters as if you are regulating a commercial bank. A SACCO is not a commercial bank. A SACCO is not an MDI. A SACCO is a SACCO as a cooperative. So, the Attorney General advised that government, you need to amend and harmonize these laws. We even went further to the Solicitor General, who also did the same. Government, you need to harmonize, amend. Now, based on that, we have been moving. Even this year, on the 24th, it was Tuesday, 24th of September, we went back for the National Cooperative Consultative Meeting, and the members, their stand is still, we need a single regulator, like it is in Kenya, and a single law. I'm happy to inform Ugandans, because I don't want us to control the main thing as if nothing is going on. And I want to thank government, because what has happened, after the communication by the Attorney General and the Solicitor General, they went further and communicated to Uganda Law Reform Commission. Uganda Law Reform Commission took up the matter. Last week on Monday, they invited us. They invited UCA, Uganda Cooperative Alliance as an apex body. They invited Ukusku as a union for SACCOs. They invited the Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Trade, Ministry of Justice. We had a whole day, in fact 2 days meeting. And having understood the concerns of the cooperators and the cooperative ideology and whatever, and even globally, we have also done benchmarking. We have looked at Tanzania, we have looked at Kenya, we have looked at India, we have looked at China, we have looked at Brazil, and we see how these cooperatives are being regulated as SACCOs and how they are moving very fast. So based on that, we had our input, and finally we agreed that they are going to, because what did we agree on in this discussion? The lawyers, because this is now a team of the land people, the lawyers, they really sat down, understood everything, the concerns of the cooperators, and the lacuna that is there, the contradictions are there, like I've mentioned. For example, when you go to this one of Central Bank, they amended the MDI Act, and they defined a microfinance. But in the definition of a microfinance, it is still talking about a company. Are you getting me?
Yes.
Now, if a SACCO went there to the central bank and it enters like this, is it entering as a cooperative or as a company? Because the microfinance definition in the MDI Act is still talking about the company, not the cooperative. So when it is entering like this, does it enter? That has been my question. does it enter as a company or as a cooperative?
It enters
the
as a company.
moment it ends, because the law requires a company.
Yes.
That means you now have to change form from cooperative to company, if you are to suit the definition. So you see the contradiction. The other contradictions you'll find here, maybe the Cooperative Societies Act amended. The registrar can liquidate. When you go to tier 4, then UMRA can liquidate. So among the two, who is supposed to liquidate? Yes. Even the central bank is supposed to liquidate. So what happens then? So all of those contradictions, I'm happy to inform Ugandans that Uganda Reform Commission has well guided us, and they are also in agreement that we need to have a single regulator and a single law. We do not mind who comes in. For us, we are not there to fight whichever. Whether it is central bank, whether it is UMRA, whether it is registrar, we don't have a problem. What we want is a single regulator and a single law, and the cooperatives should be represented on the board of the regulator. Why? Because we want people who understand these cooperatives. If you are taking cattle keepers and there is a meeting, then you need to have a representative of someone who understands cattle, not from cotton to go and represent cattle keepers. So likewise, on the board, we would want, and like it is in Kenya, you would find the central bank is represented, because this is money, finances. Ministry of Finance is represented. The CAK, the Cooperative Alliance of Kenya, is represented. Then the Ministry of Trade and the Cooperatives is also represented. So that is what we want. We want a single regulator where we have like the Ministry of Trade, Ministry of Finance, the Central Bank, Uganda Cooperative Alliance, the cooperators all represented, and then we speak the same language. I tell you, moderator, in Uganda, based on the challenges that we see in these circles, it is high time that we started regulating these cooperatives. We want the regulation of these circles even as early as yesterday. Now,
Ivan, that said, no doubt it is very relevant to have a single law. It is very relevant to have a particular or one regulator. But that said, and I'm happy that it's beginning to see the light of day, when we look at SACCOS, could we say that in any way these lacunas have affected the smooth running of SACCOS?
Very much.
Because you have so many problems in SACCOS.
Very much.
And I was first saying, would these be the first priorities?
Oh,
because
very much. That's a very
one opens today, in a twinkle of an eye, it is normal.
It is a
Others
very important question, moderator. Why? As we speak today, the lacuna is affecting SACCOS.
In which way?
Across the country. In which way? Very good. Of recent, I got a letter from Narrow SACCO, Narrow Staff SACCO. They went to process a code in a public service, because this is a staff SACCO. So they wanted to start transferring the staff salaries through the SACCO, and also give them loans so that they can easily deduct at source. Requirement number one is that they need a license. Now, when they went to Uganda Microfinance Regulatory Authority, you know, because of rationalization, do you know what has happened?
Update me in that area.
It doesn't have, UMRA doesn't have a board currently. Because this is information I got as a general secretary. When they wrote to me, I had now to write to UMRA. What is this lacuna? How can this SACCO be assisted? So the information I got is that we don't have a board. Why? Because it has been rationalized. It has been put in the Ministry of Finance.
Yes.
Now, in that context, they cannot issue licenses. So when in the event that you cannot issue a license, so what happens? Yet there is a precedence, there is a case in a court. There was a ruling that was made, I think this year or last year, where, I may not mention the institution here, where a SACCO union had lent money. And then when it came to recovery, you know, people have gazing, people have learned. And now there is a saying that now that birds have learned to fly without perching, man must learn to shoot without missing. This is what I am calling upon government. This is something that we should do as early as yesterday. Let us prioritize this. Let us put a lot of resources. Let us support.
We are still looking at how it's affecting.
Let us support Uganda Reform Commission to ensure that the amendment, this one comes up very fast. The amendments are done by Parliament so that we have a single law and a regulator. So number one, there is no issuance of licenses.
Okay, that is
so
very
critical. So
critical.
that one affects them.
Yes.
There is a case that was made, and in that ruling, because the union had lent money, so when it came to recovery, the defaulters refused to pay. Instead, they challenged the legality of this, of the process of lending. And you see what their concern was? That the process of lending was illegal. Illegal in the sense that the SACCO union did not have a license to lend.
Yes.
You get it? And the court appealed the decision that because they did not have a license, it means that whatever they were dealing in was null and void. And the union lost money. Now, as we speak today, this one is a bit confidential. But SACCOs are having challenges with recovery of their loans because of that precedence. So they need licenses as fast as possible. Because the other law says you need to have a license. If you don't have it, what happens? There is a problem with recovery. So that is the challenge number two. Challenge number three is now about we as an apex body. Because the law, it is now section 33 of Cooperative Societies Act, Cap 107, which requires the board of Uganda Cooperative Alliance to engage government on matters of policy relating to cooperative societies. So we are now at the test as an apex body, because our role is to engage on policy matters. We are engaging, but things are not moving. And now it comes back to us, because the SACCOs have to write. They are giving us concerns. We are suffering, we are struggling. Another thing, people are taking advantage, especially now the leaders. You were here last time talking about it. And even our capacity needs assessment revealed that there is a very big challenge of governance in these circles. Now they are taking advantage, the leaders. Why? Because of the lacuna. If you are a chairman of the SACCO and you embezzle money, what happens? Is it central bank? Is it UMRA? Is it the registrar? Who is supposed now to handle your matter? So people have against now, they have opened their eyes. So we need to be moving very fast. So there is a challenge of governance. Now there is also a challenge regarding how do you proceed. Operations are also affected. You know, the law is like the blood. If today my blood was drained out completely, I will be no more. So once you have a legal lacuna in certain institutions,
most of here that are dealing with monies,
and they are dealing with money, and you are dealing with many people, then automatically you have a problem. So this is, then lastly, the law also, the lacuna that I see is integrating the cooperatives. Because you see, a SACCO does not operate independently. You know, cooperatives, the way they are, that is why in 1966, they put in the principle number 6, which is a cooperation among cooperatives. Cooperatives don't compete, they work together. Now, you will find that this is a SACCO and for the dairy or the cattle keepers, and then there is also a SACCO inside. There is a SACCO, there is a dairy cooperative together, fused together, which we call the integrated cooperative business model.
Yes.
That's what we call it, or the tripartite model. Now, why is it? You see, when you are a cattle keeper, let's say you bring milk, our business model is that when you bring the milk to the dairy cooperative, all the payments are done through the SACCO. When you need advance, your child has been sent away from school. You don't need to go to money lenders, you go to your SACCO. And you don't need a guarantor or security. The security and the guarantor is your milk. You get it? That is the business model. Now, how are you going to regulate these SACCOs in the context of the business model? So that is why you need people who understand the cooperatives. So that you have a regulator here for SACCOs, but a SACCO which is mindful of the business integrated model. So that you bring the two together. But when you remove the SACCO here and you want to regulate it and license it as if it is not connected to the other, then automatically the other one will fail. So this is now another lacuna that is there. So there are so many contradictions. We cannot finish them here, but they are, like I've mentioned, issues of operations, issues of governance, issues of costs, issues, all of those are affecting the SACCOs. But I'm happy, like I've mentioned, that actually the government is responding very positively, but I want to call upon government that let's speed up, because the more we delay, the more challenges we are going to face as a country. And now that the government is really looking at the PDM SACCOs, this is the right time. That as you government invests a lot of money in the PDM, over 1 trillion going down to PDM SACCOs every year. It's a lot of money. So for you to push that money there, even in the Myoga, make sure that the landscape is very clear. Make sure the law is worked on very well.
Well, Ivan has really broken down all the gaps, I must say, and how they're affecting SACCOs in this country. Remember, this is one of the growing and fastest growing method through which government is using to empower people. When you talk about the parish development model, the PDM, we are looking at 39% of Ugandans who are not in the money economy being brought into the money economy. But Pillar 3 is financial uplifting there, where now government intentionally and well planned will or has injected money in these SACCOs. People have gotten money from the parish development model as Pillar 3. But the challenge is, if there are still gaps in the law that hinders smooth operation, or that the crafty Ugandans can use not to pay back, then it is something we must address with a lot of urgency to ensure that the SACCO movement continues growing and there are no issues regarding the law. Now I have a message coming in. Thanks for hosting our beloved Secretary General, CPA Asimwe Ivan. I appreciate his wisdom in cooperative management. However, I wish to bring this to his attention that there are so many mushrooming SACCOs down there which were the SACCO court, but actually they aren't SACCOs, instead promoting selfish interests. So we need to carry out audits for all SACCOs in as far as governance and operations are concerned. Thank you, Bwana CP Ivan. I'm Hangi Kenneth, watching from Shema. And he says, Bwana CP Ivan, as a result of such contradictions of who is the right regulator, is some SACCOs are taking advantage of the same by harassing its members. Mohanji from Shema. Okay, thank you so much. You can send in your message to the number that will be popping up on WhatsApp. Please, let's use English. A humble request, let's use English. A brother sent in here, I think this is no, let's use English. Well, let's take the language of our colonial masters. Please, I'll be glad. Another one says the SACCO movement is growing, but the challenge is many people are forming this for selfish gains. I need to understand from the beginning. Ivan said you save first, then get money. He says, I remember one time it was called revolving fund, that it is what you save is what you share. But today, SACCOs mean come as a group, be given money to elevate your earnings. So one is looking at your definition as not what actually is happening on ground today. Let's first look at those two as more are coming in.
Yeah, thank you so much, moderator, and I want to thank the people who have responded. You can really see that Ugandans love cooperatives. They are all attentive. They are following the whole story. Now, Mr. Muhanji, thank you so much, and the other people. Yes, it is true that actually a SACCO is supposed to be a savings and a credit, not a credit and savings. But people take it the other way around. So this is all about cooperative education. You know, there is information asymmetry. People are not aware For them, they know that now when you talk of a SACCO, it's a matter of calling people for a meeting. They sit there in a playground, and then you say, I'm giving you money. Form a SACCO very fast.
Form a SACCO, have your constitution
that
there.
That is not a SACCO.
Very quickly then.
That is not a SACCO. It may be called a SACCO, but ideologically, it is not a SACCO. Because a SACCO is a savings and credit cooperative organization, and the cooperative is formed out of people's initiatives. People must think, people must see a challenge or an opportunity. And based on that, together, how do we fight poverty? Together, how do we take advantage of the opportunity? And then you start. The way you have looked at the history of 1864 in Germany, whereby during Industrial Revolution, there was a financial crisis in Germany. And the people thought, how do we come out of this quagmire? Let us form our own institutions. We save the little money that we have. We access credit so that we can invest during this Industrial Revolution. When it came to Africa, in Ghana, by Father John, having gone to Canada, he was from Ireland. He also took the same message. And these people organized themselves. They started saving the little money they have, the farmers. They had that money, and then they would access credit. That is it. So ideally, it is like that. Others have been appreciating. So the ideology sometimes has been distorted, but it is now upon me and you. And that is why I always appreciative of UBC. Because now many people outside there didn't know. And they confess that actually we did not know this, but now that we have known, we are going to change. Regarding the challenges in the SACCOS, this is what I mentioned. There are so many challenges, including the legal lacuna. And it is high time that we really work on the law and the regulator. Because if the regulator was there, like it is in Kenya, you know, when the regulator is there,
yes,
they follow everything. The governance, you see like the way Bank of Uganda monitors commercial banks.
Yes.
To make sure they put standards. If you're chairman board, if you are this, the manager, all operations, you must give reports, you must do this. So it is the regulator and the good law that are going to address these challenges.
Let me just also have this dealt with. Mine is an appreciation to Mr. Asimwe Ivan. I like the way you are using your cooperative knowledge to impact the Ugandan population. I am always happy and glad to follow your shows here at UBC. And Mr. Chirabo, thank you for always making Good Morning Uganda a joy to watch. Good morning Uganda. I am Sunday Arika from Koboko district. Oh, regards to the people of Koboko. Thank you so much, Sunday, for always being part of Good Morning Uganda. We thank you for always being with us and that time. And also, always giving us feedback. We always receive your messages and thank you indeed. Now another one, thanks Ivan for educating Ugandans. My concern is about educational materials to the mushrooming SACCOS, PDM, Emyoga. I implore government to avail them with COPLAW materials for reference. Semakula Joseph, PCO Mitiana MC.
Oh.
You understand that? PCO Mitiana MC.
Okay, thank you so much, moderator. Again, I want to thank the people who have responded. You know, when someone says that he's happy, of course I've been there. I've been in the cooperatives for 21 years. And the advantage I have is that I started as a cashier of a SACCO. I did not just come from top and from down. I have gone through the entire process. Cashiering, loans officer, accountant, assistant manager, general manager of a SACCO, up to the general secretary. So at least I've gone through the process. And I know the challenges because physically I've been there. I know what these SACCOs are going through when it comes to their operations. All these challenges that they are mentioning are true. They are there, down there, issues of governance, issues of record keeping, issues of these mushrooming cooperatives. Someone just gets family members, 30 people. My son, my daughter, my grandchild, such things. They come, we are 30, we want to form a SACCO. Tomorrow, you hear the SACCO, they have stolen people's money, and it's no longer there. But if the regulator was there, and it is very clear that for you to have a SACCO, these are the parameters. Then such mushrooming SACCOs that are defrauding people's money wouldn't arise. Then someone asked about the training material. Indeed, I want to call upon the government and want to thank you for supporting cooperatives using it through the PDM and the Myoga. But we need to train them. Capacity building is really needed. Because when I come here and talk, not every Ugandan will listen to me. There is a lot that is needed. People down there do not understand what they are into. For them, they know it is like, when you talk about PDM, they know it is a casino. It's an appreciation. They don't know that this is a revolving fund where me and you are supposed to get the money. Use it effectively, we return it, then another one uses the money like that. The president has really done this very well. What is now needed is the technical team to sit down with Uganda Cooperative Alliance. Because why do I talk about UCA? We have been here since 1961, 17th of June, and we have done all this to establish. I will tell you, in 1990s, Uganda Cooperative Alliance, together with the government, with the support of UNDP, they moved across the country, mobilized the communities, and the communities formed the village banks. All these bigger SACCOs you see were established with the support of Uganda Cooperative Alliance. Talk about Ryamujungu, talk about Rubabo, Agaro, Moyo, Koboko, all those, they were started. And when you go inside their offices, you find an old signpost written, let's say, Moyo Village Bank. So later, the name changed from Village Bank to SACCOs. Because so, the regulator bank of Uganda, because the central banks, bank, then, yes, the central bank did not allow the use of the word bank. Yes. So we changed immediately from village banks. The time I entered the SACCO in 2003, it was called a village bank. So immediately they changed it to a savings and credit. So given that experience, Ugandans, we have the experience to go down and train these people so that tomorrow we have a transformed economy. I will be very happy when Uganda has transformed, when people are very rich, because this is a country gifted by nature with political peace, with the weather is good, the soils are very fertile. So what is it that we are lacking not to develop? What we need is capacity building, mobilization and sensitization of our people. And then tomorrow, Uganda should be among the first-class economies. Well, first-class economies is our desire, and we know it is a step in the right direction if we have SACCOs as a vehicle, which our government has chosen really. Because when you look at ways through which government is providing money, they're looking at people forming groups, and the SACCO method is what they're using. The good thing with cooperatives is the economy of the country is in the hands of the people. It is the people that come together, use numbers, financially engage in business in the various forms of cooperatives or SACCOs you can talk about. So they run their economy. And that is something very good. And of course it can get us to where we are going. But with the lacunas, my guest has talked about, we must address them. But also cooperative education is something very, very important. Because many times there is so much excitement, mostly when it comes to government programs, that sometimes people miss the vital foundations of some of these programs. When we talk about financial inclusion, that is pillar 3 under the parish development model, which aims at the 39% stealing out of the money economy, to bring them into the money economy. You find that I think we fronted more, and we keep on fronting, money is coming, money is coming. We miss the other foundation, that this should be just an addition by government into something that is already running to broaden their capital base for credit. Now, these are the challenges we are facing, and that is why we say more education, but also ensuring that we work on the lacunas within the law. Ivan,
I must let you out of the studios.
Thank
But
you
before, I give you 1 minute.
Thank you so much. But I should now, next time I should host you because you understand the cooperatives better now than me.
Not at all.
Yes, than me. So I'm very happy for, I'm really happy to UBC for always giving us this opportunity. On behalf of the cooperative movement, I want to thank you, the board and management, for this opportunity. Ugandans outside there are watching. I want to call upon all Ugandans. Let's work together, support our cooperatives, support our country, because when you are looking at now the NDP4, which is about agro-industrialization, we cannot agro-industrialize if we don't have a very strong financing arm. And the SACCOS here are contributing a lot towards this pillar. So Ugandans, let us all work together. Let us support our SACCOS. Let us support all types and forms of cooperatives so that we transform this economy together. Thank you and have a blessed day.
Well, thank you so much, Ivan Asimwe, who is the General Secretary of Uganda Cooperative Alliance, and you are a viewer. To the cooperators out there, yes, let's seek more information and more knowledge regarding cooperatives. See you in the next hour. Good morning.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
A new dawn on Behind the Headlines with me, Timothy Nyangweso. Every Wednesday, live in our studios in the heart of Kampala, we have conversations that have analysis, explanation, but not every truth is fact, and not every fact is truth. Every Wednesday, 10 p.m. on your public broadcaster.
Broadcaster, UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Billions is easy, no.